Good morning. Our hand today is going to be pocket sevens. On this hand, I'm on the button. In a 10-NL game, we've got 7 players and cutoff limps and I ISO. So this player's playing 50-13. Doesn't have 3-bet. He's got a called 2-bet at 48%. I've got 46 hands on him. When we look at his mid position, 45% VPIP, 17% pre-flop raise first in, 20%, 1 out of 5, limped in, 1 out of 5. So I think he's got some hands that are fairly weak. It doesn't look like he's going to 3-bet a huge amount. So when it comes down to, what do I expect him to raise pre-flop? I expect him to raise like these better hands. Probably at least something like that is what he's going to probably raise. Maybe even wider. We'll throw pocket 8s in there. But he limped. You can see it's going to be fairly weak range. Going to probably be fairly wide. When we look at his limp and called, we've got ace queen suited, so it could be tricky. We've got 6-4 suited, ace 5 off, queen jack off, jack 8 off, 5-4 off. So hands that I think could make straights. And if he's playing these offsuit hands, he's probably also playing those suited hands as well. So let's get those 3s in there, 3 gappers. Yeah, so something fairly weak. So then it gets to us. I've got my blinds always ISO range. That's what we're going to play. Just going to be aggressive. He's fairly wide. And we don't mind if we just pick up the pot. That's okay. We are short here with, you can see 64 big blinds. He is shorter at 33. I'm not going to mind, raising it. I'm not going to worry about him because I don't have any evidence that he is going to 3-bet. If he looks like he's 3-betting all in, to try to get all in with a wide range, we're going to have to probably tighten up some of our isolation raising range. But we're going to keep with full ISO. And then small blind calls. He's playing 33-19. I have 120 hands on him. I actually probably have a lot more than that based on the notes. But we could look at it and we could see 47% from the small blind seems to be what he plays. Doesn't really 3-bet. There we have small blind called 2-bets, 14%, limp with previous limpers, 83%. So that's really what he's doing. When there's limpers, he's limping behind in small blind. So for him to call, I think he's probably going to have some sort of hand that's connected. We do have 3-bet, so his 3-bet range is queens, ace 10 off. But look at his limp, or look at his call 2-bet from blinds range. Pretty wide. You've got your suited connectors. Looks like a suited 1-gapper with 10-8. You've got your suited Broadway, king 10, your pocket pairs. You have your offsuit hands, king 2 offsuit and jack 9 offsuit. So that I think is a little bit more surprising, and it's hard to kind of rectify. So if you got a king 5 offsuit, that means he's got all the rest of these kings probably. And we could include it in there, especially if he doesn't believe me. And then I kind of think the aces would be in there too. What was his 3-bet stat? Ace 10 off. It's possible that if he has a 3-bet of ace 10 off, that he's raising all of those as well. All these hands, probably king jack. Yeah, we'll leave those, but then we're going to have your suited aces. If he's going to play, 10-8, I think is what we said, 10-8 off. Let's go ahead and cover that up. Jack 9 off. So if he's going to have jack 9 off, he probably has the rest of these 1-gappers. So if he's got offsuit 1-gappers, he's got suited 1-gappers. Maybe suited 3-gappers, but that's 41%. probably wide, but I think we're gonna go with it because I think this guy might be a guy that's. It seems strange that he calls in this spot. It just seems strange that he calls with that spot. Folds around, mid position player or the cutoff folds, so he had junky hand. So it's the two of us that go to a flop. Let's get that. Flop comes down ace-6-4. That definitely hits my range. Should hit my range. It should be have the range advantage because I don't think he has aces. So we've got aces, he doesn't. I think we both can have 6s and 4s. I think 6s and 4s are definitely hands that he could call with. I know my range also has some of these straight draw potentials. So villain 4 checks, I think that's standard, and then we're going to c-bet. And I think we're going to be aggressive with our c-betting here because we have a wider range. So we are going to have a bunch of hands that are going to miss. So I think we're betting for value. Top pair, probably these sevens of kings as well. Some of those are definitely draws. We've got our open enders, our gut shots that we're going to bet. We're going to probably bet our 2-card backdoor flush draws as well. And then we're betting these middle bottom pairs as kind of bluff value. I think we're going to check the rest of these, but we could use them as a delayed c-bet if we happen to improve a little bit. I think there are other hands that we could bet. I mean, we definitely have backdoor flush draws that we're betting. We're betting a lot of those. So hearts and diamonds and so forth. Hearts, diamonds, and clubs. So I think we've got everything covered. We're about half value, half bluff. But again, these values are probably a mix between bluff and value. So like those are probably a little bit more bluff. King and queens could be a little bit more value hands. So I think that's our bet. We bet half pot. I think we could probably even go down to like four big blinds. If he didn't connect, he's just going to fold. So we can reduce how much we're risking and get probably the same result. Villain 4 called. His fold to c-bet stat while out of position is 38%. In position, it's 100%. You could see that it looks like he's probably over-folding a lot of his hands. So him calling is a little bit of a concern. So I think he's probably calling with the pairs. I mean, he could call with all pairs. If he doesn't believe that I have an ace, he doesn't believe I have an ace. I think we'll give him open enders, the gut shots, something that looks like that. So we are ahead. The question is, on turns, what can we get him to fold? And you can see a big chunk of his range is going to be this top pair, the aces. And that's what we always have to worry about, is that people play a lot of suited aces, offsuit aces from the blinds. So ace of hearts comes on the turn. That's kind of a good thing because it reduces how many aces are out in people's hands. So villain 4 checks. I think that's going to be pretty standard. And then I check behind. Now, is that a good check? I think with the ace, if we have the ace, we're looking at ways in which we could get paid. And the question is, if I bet, what kind of hands are going to call here? So if I bet, I don't think any of these middle pair and weaker hands are going to call. Even maybe these pocket pair. I think all of this is going to fold here. I think the flush draw calls, open ender calls. I don't think the gut shot calls anymore. So we're looking at 64% he's folding, 35, 36% he's calling. And if he calls, we're going to be behind. We're basically looking for trips. Now, he is folding a lot, and perhaps that means we're just going to be betting everything that we have here. So we have a lot of junk. So we're definitely betting 3 of a kind for value, 3 of a kind plus for value. And then the rest of these, like the flush draw, open enders, gut shots, that's definitely all bluff, but we could also probably go with all of these no made hands. All those hands that miss, we can probably just go ahead and bet as a bluff. And then you could use some of these middle pairs as just kind of check behinds. We may be ahead, we might not be, but I kind of think that if we're going to be doing this, we should probably be betting these weaker pairs, all of these hands, just kind of finish it out as a bluff. Yeah, we're going to be swamped. I mean, 94%. That's not right. I accidentally clicked through the con. 63, 2-to-1 bluffs the value. If he picks up on this, that we're unbalanced, but I think he's overfolding. So I think we should try to take advantage of this. On these, we're looking for value. So if he doesn't believe us, if he doesn't believe that we have the ace or we have something better, if he doesn't believe that, then he's going to be calling with a lot of weak hands. He'll call with the 6. He'll call with pocket 7s, pocket 8s. He'll call with all of those hands just because he doesn't believe us. So I kind of think we missed out by not betting here. So if I wasn't going to bet, I think we're looking at something like that. And then maybe the open ender. I'm going to probably think that's what I was doing, which you can see I'm unbalanced. I think that's a mistake. But I think maybe you check the flush because you don't want to bet and then have him raise, and we just have to fold it, get rid of it. So we're going to keep that range. And then the 4 of diamonds gets there. If he checks, we should bet. He checks, we should bet. I think we're looking for the 6 and the 4 to call. Not the 4. We're looking for the 6 to call. He hasn't shown anything. He called once. The question is, what did he call with? And what's he going to bet? So at this point, I think he's going to be betting his full houses. He didn't. He checked. So we're looking at something like this. And if we look at what we beat, we basically beat all of these hands. So, if we figure out, if we bet and he calls, does he call with nothing? No. I kind of think he's calling with that. So 80% of the time we beat anything that he calls with, and that's what we should be betting. We should be betting smallish, pots 24. We should probably be betting like 8, maybe 6 big blinds, and expect him to call. So what, for us, what kind of hands are we betting? We're betting all of those. We're betting the full houses. And then I think we're betting these pocket pair below top pairs for value. And we are, when you look at how often he calls 34% of the time. I think the other time we're going to be just betting nothing, just kind of as a bluff. Maybe our kings, maybe our queens, 10 high. Again, we're going to be unbalanced, but I think exploitatively we should have just gone ahead and bet everything here. He shows jacks, which is strange. I didn't have jacks. I had jacks out of his range, but I think he kind of has that 7s and 8s. So if he has those, he probably has that. He probably has these hands as well, which increases the aces that he has. But still, way he plays, it looks like it's an under pair. So question is, could we have gotten him to fold? Yeah, I think had we continued betting the turn, I think he's going to have to fold jacks. If we bet the turn and he calls, I think we just check behind. I don't think there's a possibility that he has a heart draw, but that required him to call with a backdoor flush draw and then call now that the board paired. So yeah, I think we missed this hand by not continuing our bet on the turn, realizing that hand actually helped us. That ace helped us. It told us there's less aces out in his hand. And we could be aggressive because we also should have aces. So I messed this hand up. Take some notes. Hopefully we don't do this again. We just kind of have to think that, on a board like this, if we think a player doesn't believe us with our flop C bet, and and that top card pairs, it makes it less likely that they have that top card. Now, if we bet the turn and he calls, as I said, we'll probably have to give it up. I don't. When he calls, he either has the ace or he's decided he doesn't believe that we have an ace and he's going to call down. So, all right. Hopefully you enjoy this, and if you do, look tomorrow for another one.